A few days ago, the FCT minister was top of the headlines following an altercation with naval officers who refused the staff of the FCDA access to a contested land in Gadua district of the nation's capital. So tonight on our Focus on the FCT, we take a look back at the land regularization exercise of the FCT administration and the casualties of these decisions, which the FCT minister insists will help the FCT become a world-class city. Our guest tonight is an advocate for the rights of natives of the FCT, and he tells us about another plot of land he says the minister should focus on next. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Megwa. Let's begin. The Nigerian Guild of Editors got what many are calling a subtle scolding. The 15% import duty on petrol and diesel was halted. The president's 1.15 trillion naira loan request was approved, and the military got kudos from the president. It's time for our Abuja Wrap.
President Bola Tinubu has charged news editors and journalists to discharge their responsibilities with wisdom, fairness, and strong sense of national duty. He gave the charge when he declared open the 21st conference of the Nigerian Guild of Editors held at the State House in Abuja. Describing the role of editors in the sustenance of democracy as central and indispensable, the president said he welcomes constructive criticisms.
As editors and managers of the national information space, you shape narratives, you influence public understanding, you decide what becomes national focus and how our collective challenges are interpreted. The weight of that responsibility is extremely significant. It must be exercised with wisdom, fairness, and a strong sense of national duty.
President Bola Tinubu has met with the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Sultan and the President, alongside other eminent Nigerians, observed the Friday prayers at the Villa Mosque, where they prayed for peace and unity of the country. Shortly after the prayers, President Tinubu had an audience with the traditional leader and head of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs in his office. Also present during the meeting were the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajudeen, and the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu. The meeting comes as the debate over alleged genocide against Christians continues to heat the polity. Earlier, precisely on Tuesday, President Tinubu also met with the Catholic Archbishop of the Diocese of Abuja, Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, at the Presidential Villa. President Bola Tinubu says his government is committed to improving the country's electricity supply and enhance the livelihoods of Nigerians. He stated this at a meeting with the delegation from Siemens Energy, led by its Managing Director for Middle East and Africa, Mr. Dimitri Seodofa, at the Presidential Villa Abuja. The president noted that the power sector remains central to stimulating the economy, particularly in the industrial, educational, and healthcare sectors. As Africa navigates a rapidly shifting digital landscape, Nigeria is making definitive statements that the continent can be powered into a new era of prosperity through technology. The declaration came at the opening of the Digital Nigeria International Conference in Abuja, where government, industry, and global partners gathered to set the pace for the future.
If there is any shortcut through which we can catch up with the developed economies, it lies in digital innovation. We are endowed with one of the world's most vibrant pools of talent, and the success of our race with the rest of the world can only be guaranteed by us. This is why I'm honored to witness this gathering of stakeholders ready for the task before us.
Welcome back. Redefining the landscape of the FCT by eliminating non-compliance of the FCT Land Use Act by residents is one of the core mandates of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. But it has come with a price. And according to him, it's a price he's willing to pay. The FCT minister has been criticized for his approach, his tone, the words he uses, and has even been called high-handed and accused of cronyism. He denies all these claims, of course, and dares anyone with proof to charge him to court. According to the minister, all these accusations are coming from quarters that are unhappy with his insistence that the things in the FCT, especially when it has to do with land and property development, be done the right way. He says he is focused on building a world-class city and everyone must get in line or get out of the way. Please watch this. Of office. One of the core mandates of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is to redefine the landscape of the FCT by eliminating non-compliance of the FCT Land Use Act by residents. Recently, at the 2025 Asia-Pacific Cities Summit and Mayors Forum, the FCT Minister spoke on the Abuja Smart City Vision, which he said was championed by his administration and driven by strategic investments across key areas such as urban mobility, sustainability, public safety, digital governance, and economic empowerment. The minister underscored Abuja's unique status as a purpose-built and ever-evolving capital with a clear master plan, vision, and mission anchored on service delivery to citizens. That master plan has put the minister on a collision course with landowners who he says do not have the appropriate ownership papers, are breaking the use for which their land licenses were given, are owing ground rent, or contravening the Abuja master plan in any way. On October the 17th this year, the Federal Capital Territory Administration demolished 11 duplexes of the Nigerian Police Fund for violating the FCTA's building policy. Speaking during an interview after inspecting the construction site at the Apo district of the nation's capital, the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, explained that no approval was granted before the construction of the building due to its proximity to electricity installations in the area. Furthermore, he called out the police force for going against the FCTA and embarking on the construction, stating that his administration will take necessary actions against such acts.
I got a report from the development control that they have to come here to stop some buildings that are going on. You can see the high tension, and so that it's unfortunate it's being built by Nigerian police, and they applied for approval, and the development control said no, there's no way they can give approval. Look at where the high tension is. So they gave them to stop. They refused to stop, and then they have to come here for their job to make sure that the buildings are brought down. But they were arrested by the Nigerian police. So I have to come and see things for myself, and all of us have seen. Look at the high tension. How would anybody take such a risk? Assuming that there's not even high tension, the mere fact that the development control refused to give you approval, you cannot take it to your hands and say you must because you have the force. And this is what has brought us here, for me to see things for myself. I'm sure the IG is not around, he may not be aware, but I have to take it up to the appropriate authority that we cannot allow this.
Also in October, a group of women entrepreneurs in Abuja lamented the demolition of their businesses in the Maitama area of Abuja. The women said they had occupied the green area for the past 14 years and that the land was reallocated to another company. According to them, they have invested in the area, turning it into a thriving social hub, employing 68 staff and supporting small businesses.
This is a green area, and we legitimately got the managerial rights to stay here under a lease agreement duly executed in 2007 by AMMC. We demand a thorough investigation to how Abuja City Work Limited acquired this area of O in the first place. We demand that the economical and ecosystem of this place be considered. We demand that we are giving back what we have rightfully occupied and owned. They should leave us alone. We are young women who have come together to create jobs for ourselves and for others. We're asked, every owner, we were asked to reapply. We were in the process. We have a 30 years lease with 12 years remaining, and we have a right of first refusal. Every ownership has a right of first refusal. We were in the process. As a matter of fact, we had just paid our ground rents in June.
The FCDA, on their part, clarified that the women refused to comply with the directive to re-evaluate their ownership, which is an order from the FCT administration, to address the occupation of green spaces by criminals, beggars, and miscreants.
The FCT administration has withdrawn all allocations granted to owners of these parks. You see, sometimes people don't read terms and conditions attached to some of these papers or license.
So
we
all
made it
parks in the
yes.
FCT, all parks in the FCT?
All parks
have been withdrawn?
Yes.
This operation in Wuse Zone 3 in August was a follow-up to the FCT minister's directive during a security meeting on August 5th, 2025, to rid the city of criminal elements. On arrival at this area in Wuse Zone 3, the team led by the FCTA's Director Development Control Department, Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, immediately swung into action. Aside from distorting the master plan of the city, the team also believes that criminal activities were being carried out on this property.
In the plan of Abuja, where we are standing now is a proposed road corridor that has been designated as the Inner Northern Expressway. They have been residing illegally, so there is nothing we can do about them but to chase them out of the place. Moreover, this place has been designated for another use. It's not supposed to accommodate them, but they were just occupying illegally.
These are the weapons most of these criminal elements who are hibernating in this particular axis, normally used to attack unsuspecting passers-by and motoring public. Here leads from here they can go towards the National Mosque bridge, and they can also access the Zone 1 bridge. Before we got here, most of them they disappeared. But from what we have done right now, that we have cleared the place, they don't even have a place to come and lay their head again.
While the FCT minister insists that he's doing the job the president appointed him to do, these demolitions have created some bad blood between the minister and many landowners in the FCT. One of the most intense confrontations happened just a few days ago at the Gadua district of the nation's capital. In addition to the FCT minister's land reform policies, he had set up committees to guide land development in the FCT. The committees were charged, among other things, to review land allocation documents and underdeveloped lands in the metropolis. According to the committee's discovery, this land, which allegedly belongs to a retired military chief, is being developed illegally. As the FCT administration says, there is no record of allocation. After the FCT staff were denied access to the land, the FCT minister arrived at the premises amidst the face-off between the military personnel on ground and officials of the FCTA.
Show me the document you have. You have no document.
So we have documents.
Bring the document.
We have documents and everything has been submitted, sir.
Excuse me, I'm the minister.
This is not professional. It's not professional. You can't be facing a minister with this.
You can never develop this property. I will not allow it.
When the tension eased, the minister of the FCT explains the reason for the altercation.
It's still unfortunate. And you heard what the officer said was said by the former chief of naval staff. And I don't understand how somebody who attained that position and you see that he has a problem cannot approach my office to say, look, this is what is going on, this is what is going on. But simply because he's a military man, he could use that to intimidate Nigerians. I'm not one of those kind of persons that will succumb to blackmail or intimidation. I was there. I said, bring the documents. You don't have the documents. Bring the approval for building. You don't have it. And how can we continue to allow lawlessness to prevail in this country? What about those who don't have the military? What about those who don't have security? It has gotten to a level where when government officials are carrying out their job, you go and bring security to intimidate them against government officials. I will not accept that. I've spoken to the Chief of Defense Staff and I've spoken to the Chief of Naval Staff, and they have assured me that, please, they have to resolve the matter. And we're not coming here to have a shootout with anybody to cause chaos or not. But what I can say, I would not allow it to happen.
Mixed reactions have followed this altercation between the FCT minister and FCTA officials and the Navy personnel on ground at this site. Despite this, the FCT minister has vowed to eliminate impunity and other barriers standing as a hindrance to the good work of his administration. My guest tonight is an advocate for the rights of FCT natives, Mr. Ezekiel Dalhatu. And tonight, he tells me the FCT minister should turn his attention to a piece of land in Tungamaje Ido-Sarki axis, a land he says is 1,000 times bigger than one in Gadua district, and help the natives there with what he describes as the illegality going on there by the military. Mr. Ezekiel Dalhatu, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you once again.
When you saw that story about the FCT minister and that naval officer, and of course the story behind it's a story that we've talked about before on this program, that particular land in Gadua. Yes, what came to your mind when you saw that particular altercation between both of them?
What came to my mind was seeing two persons struggling over a land that is not theirs. Because the original inhabitants of the FCT still have rights to their land in accordance to what the Constitution stated.
You still have rights to that land in Gadua?
The entire land in FCT belongs to the original inhabitants of the FCT.
That's not what the minister says. He says that people have been compensated.
Okay, I keep saying, let's see the evidence. Because government don't do charity work. If they have compensated anybody before taking the land, as is captured in the Constitution, let's see the evidence.
Are there people that they are compensating after taking the land?
I have some some groups of persons and in villages. Like if you ask me now in Gishiri that they demolished their houses to do road, were they compensated? You know, the demolition was made in the magnanimity of the minister, which anytime, any day I said I appreciated him for what he did. A letter now came to compensate the people and even give them an arrow for land where they can go and then do their building. Yes. Though it's another different argument where you see the sizes of the land, 150 square kilometer and all of that. But then he has given them a title document, unlike before, where they would just say, okay, take money for crops and cashew. Maybe each and cashew trees. And trees to say each cashew is 2,000 per tree, and which is like you can't even. So his own hit at least. And then as we speak in Paduma here, very close to us, there is a road corridor, and the minister have directed that the people's structure that has been affected should be taken into consideration for enumeration, valuation, and they will be paid duly, and that also he will give them an allocation very, very close to the community so they will remain where
so
they
there
are.
Is some good work.
That good work from him, okay. And we're not taking it. We can't be here if he's doing well and then we'll say he did not do well on that angle. Now, it's a statement of fact that we have this issue in Tungamaje, Ido-Sarki, Nwalege, Tungamadage as is for over a decade. And this issue has been brought to the knowledge of governments and especially the relevant authority that be. While I was in office as Public Complaint Commissioner before leaving, and then Barrister Wike came in, the doing minister of the FCT, I brought this issue to him to a point that he called for a meeting between the military hierarchy, the Navy were there, the Air Force were there, and the Army. You remember that incident? I was there, the Chief of Jua, Amak Chairman, and that of Gwagwalada. And I told him that this thing is looking like a recipe for major crisis because these indigenous people who owns this land as their ancestral land, they have a tie. Kela, let me tell you for free, no human being came from air. We all came from this soil called land, and we all go back to it. So you could see the attachment the human being has with the land.
What happened after that meeting?
And after that meeting, let me even tell, in that meeting, I ensure that the minister gets the facts, which is, do the military have allocation of this land? And he actually saw that they do not have the allocation because the director land was there. He was asked and he said there is no any allocation like that for the military. And he said the military should hold on, not to do anything on that land until he gets into the...
That's the land in Tungamaji.
That was the land in Tungamaji. And since then, in 2023 ending, early 2024, since then, we've not had anything from the Honorable Minister. Just last 2 months, the Navy went to the community, Idosariki, and announced to them not to go to their farm anymore, but that they are coming with a special grass. They have a program that has to do with that, but they have a special grass they're going to plant to be feeding the animals. And so the indigenous, the villagers, should no longer access that farm. They ran to me, and I took the matter up to my successor, the current Commissioner of Public Complaint, which he took over the matter also, and also brought it to the attention of the Honorable Minister. I have been here several times talking about this issue to say what we want is so that we don't have unnecessary crisis in our hand. Let's nip this on the bud. We didn't see any action till today. And so when we saw the Gadua incident, we say, how we wish the Honorable Minister will have used this energy to save over 3,000 persons, over 15 communities on that land, cut across Tungamaji, Pakuru, Tungamadaki, Nualegi, and all of those places, because these are our citizens. The citizen of FCT, indigenous people, should not be less a citizen to other Nigerians. So anything that concerns them, and we are seeing it to consume them. As I speak to you, carry your cameras and go to Idosariki Kala. You will see signposts that is mounted by Navy, asking the communities to pack their property and leave. And leave to where? And this issue is brought before the government.
I want to get a clear picture.
Why are they not so serious about it?
I want to get a clear picture of that particular land in Tungamaji and that Idosariki area. The land, is it just the Navy? Because it's very massive.
The vast land that the military...
Okay, so
it's not just a levy. The entire military. I don't have the.
Did they partition?
Yeah, I don't have the correct measurement, but it's over 100,000 hectares. It's over 100 hectares of land, and they have demarcated it in between for themselves. The military have their own site around Pakuru, Tungamaji.
The army.
The Navy, the army. Then the Navy have theirs. They are caught in for the two Idosariki and other. Then the Air Force, it is the Nualege side. So it's a vast land, but that has been demarcated in between the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force.
Which of them is the one that the second runway at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport?
That is the Air Force.
That's the one at the Air Force.
That's one of the.
But the minister said it's the Ministry of Aviation that the land is.
That is the confusion I'm talking about, because even when we had public investigative hearing at National Assembly that was instigated and petitioned by us, the indigenous people, then I was the leader of coalition, and there was a public investigative hearing on that issue. The minister of FCT then, Bello Mohammed, came and said through the permanent secretary that land is allocated to Ministry of Aviation for the expansion of the airport. Yes. And the entire vast land there is no anything that has to do with military formation. On the master plan is for the expansion of Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport. And so you are now we are now asking questions. If this land is given to Ministry of Aviation, why is the military still coming to say this is... So who owns this allocation actually? So it is Ministry of Aviation, not even... And the minister have attested to this, to say he has not given the military any allocation in that axis. So we want the honorable minister, with the capacity we know he has, with what he displayed in Gadua, which he actually went there to do his job. When I hear people say this, I don't want to join issues on that. But he actually if he was not the minister of FCT, I'm not sure he will go there on any capacity to say he want to drag any issue. So that kind of energy is what we want him to do, to use, and save over thousands of people that are his own citizen and critical stakeholder in this place, who are the original inhabitants, to save and protect them. The 858 indigenous community should be integrated into the master plan once and for all. Not to say that when you come with development, you want to ask the entire Kabusa to move and go to around and go to Abaji and bring another Nigerians to stay there. That is injustice. With what is happening, we are seeing is selective justice. And I tell you for free in law, selective justice is injustice. So why should this happen to us? If it has not happened to the people in Lagos, it didn't happen to the people in Calabar, why is it happening to the people of the FCT? You have one constitution, but implemented for two different people. You have a Nigerian constitution that when you go to Nasarawa State, the indigent and the persons from Nasarawa State have rights to his land. Government will not do anything until he compensate him and take the land. In Nasarawa State nearby. Same thing in Kogi here. Same thing in, in Niger State. But you carry that same constitution and come to Abuja, and then you say the person that is from Abuja has no right to his land. Is it fair? And the constitution talk about equity, justice, and fairness. In Tungamaje, FCT minister should ensure the military vacate that land, and the indigenous people have their land and have rights to farm, to earn a living, because nobody cares how they live. Government is not the one feeding them. Government is not the one taking their children to school.
So vacate
the military. Because they don't even have the allocation. The land back to the owners. Already this is, because before you take that land from the owner, the constitution say, do adequate compensation. Have the people in Tungamaje been compensated adequately? So why taking their land?
So even if they want to take the land, they should compensate you people?
Compensate them adequately. That is the word I'm cutting from the constitution. Adequate compensation.
Okay.
Do it before taking the land. But you want to take the land before talking compensation. Are you implementing the constitution?
All right, well, it's a dicey one, but we'll be watching to see how it all unfolds. But I do have to thank you very much, Mr. Dalhatu Ezekiel, for being with us on Dateline Abuja. We'll be following up on this story, and good luck with all the work ahead of you.
Thank you. All we want, peace, 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 but let the right thing be done.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.